What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and as I stated in the intro of our last video, the MLB free agent signing period has officially begun. Free agency is open for Major League Baseball as of Thursday at 5 p.m., meaning that any free agent is free to sign anywhere they please, leading to the off-season craziness that is the MLB off-season. Now, I've been looking through our videos before we got to this point, and I noticed that we had talked a lot about individual free agents, which is great, right? We've talked about guys who are rumored to have been spoken to by the Boston Red Sox. We talked about guys who we think could be good fits for this Red Sox team, guys who we don't think could be good fits for this Red Sox team. We even tried to have a little bit of fun trading for Shohei Ohtani. One thing that we did not do so far yet that I think would be the perfect way to kick off this MLB offseason is to go over a comprehensive list of the top free agents that I think the Red Sox should sign this offseason. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to go over my list of the top guys I would love to see the Red Sox sign, and I want you guys to let me know what are the top guys you would want the Red Sox to sign down below. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. A couple of things I want to say before we get into my list. First is that Grandstand Production, another Red Sox YouTube channel here, made a fantastic video about this as well. So if you want to check out their list, that link will be in my description. The other is that, yes, there are hundreds of options for free agents this offseason. So chances are your list doesn't look exactly like mine. So if it does differ, let me know who that is and why down below. Anyways, let's get on to my list. And the first guy on this list should surprise nobody. This is as obvious as an answer could be. Xander Bogarts, the free agent now. Xander Bogarts should be signed by the Boston Red Sox. Just this year alone, he won a Silver Slugger. He was nominated for his first ever Gold Glove award. I know that award can be a little fluky, but still, he did vastly improve his defense this year, and he did it all while battling through a back injury. Yes, I think some people do forget that Xander Bogarts was really injured almost the entire year. After he collided with Alex Verdugo, it messed him up. He played through it. He played through it so well that he was nominated for his first Gold Glove. Now, I do understand that Marcelo Meyer is coming. I understand that Trevor Story is a fantastic defensive shortstop, and I understand that Carlos Correa is 2 years younger. But if I'm being totally honest with you guys, for the most part, I'm very impartial on this channel. I'm not impartial about Xander Bogarts. I don't think I ever will be. Xander Bogarts has proven year in and year out that he is a born winner. He is a guy that is going to put his life on the line for this Red Sox club because he did it in Boston for the last, 9-10 years. He is a natural born leader, which is very important. Sometimes you see teams sign big name guys and they feel as though they have to be leaders, i.e. Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees. Xander Bogarts doesn't have to be a leader. He is naturally. He sets an example and players tend to follow that, and that's extremely hard to find. Not only that, but he has also proven that he can play well in Boston, right? Couple of all-star appearances, 5 Silver Slugger awards, 2 World Series. He is the guy the Red Sox need at shortstop, and I will die on that hill. Anyways, let's get into another guy that I'm not going to go on a crazy rant about, and I'm going to talk about the starting pitching because I think for the most part, everyone can agree that pitching on this Red Sox team was the sore spot in 2022, and the guy I want to talk about is Carlos Rodon. Now, a lot of top analysts for the MLB have the Red Sox spending zero money, which is unfortunate because I'm a little bit optimistic about this offseason, and I think the Red Sox could end up spending a decent amount of money. And what better way to change a lot of people's minds, to prove a lot of people wrong, than to sign a bona fide ace in Carlos Rodon. Now, I already made a video on this channel about how well he will fit in personality-wise, statistic-wise, contract-wise with this Red Sox team. So if you want the nitty-gritty, go ahead and check that out. I'm going to go over the top line here because I think it would be awesome for the Red Sox to make a splash like this. Just imagine we go from the end of 2022 where you had a battered Michael Wacha, a 75% ready to go Nate Eovaldi, and Nick Pivetta, who really truly is a 5-slot pitcher, as your top 3 pitchers in this rotation. rotation to starting 2023 with one of the youngest, brightest stars in Major League Baseball, a guy who has a ton of potential in Brayan Bello. You start with a guy who at one point was a top 5 pitcher in baseball and is now coming back for a revenge tour in Chris Sale. You have Garrett Whitlock, who is elite in the bullpen and now has an entire offseason to train to be a starting pitcher. And then you add in Carlos Rodon to that mix. That is so much better than what we started with as our 1, 2, 3 in 2022. And I think that would be a fantastic move to make. Go make a big splash. Let's shore up this rotation that desperately needs it and go get Carlos Rodon. And speaking of pitching, we got to talk about the bullpen as well, because the starting pitching was bad. The bullpen was way worse. And there are a ton of different options here that we could choose when it comes to bullpen options on free agent market. There are a ton of guys, but I wanted to do a little bit oddball choice, a guy who I think would be a pretty good match for this Red Sox team, and that's Taylor Rogers. Now, while Taylor Rogers did have a bit of a down year in 2022, honestly the worst year of his career if I'm being totally honest, in 2022 Taylor Rogers had an ERA of 4.76, an ERA plus of just 81. And now, while that on the surface, that doesn't exactly sound fantastic and like a guy the Red Sox should invest some money in, his peripherals are much better. His FIP is much lower than his ERA, sitting at 3.31, meaning that he was probably a bit unlucky this year. On top of that too, there has not been a single season outside of this one his entire career that he has had a below 100 ERA plus, meaning that he's always been above league average in a relief role, which is extremely important. It shows consistency. So in my opinion, this season was a down year for him. I don't think it's a trend. I think it's just a simple down year, which could be good for the Red Sox. On top of that too, he is a lefty, and the Red Sox are desperately missing some lefty reliable arms in that Red Sox bullpen. Matt Strom's a free agent. God knows what's going to happen with him. We don't have Davis anymore. We got rid of Diekman. We really only have Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor's still trying to battle back from that injury, so we don't know what his status is going to be at the beginning of the year. So let's go out. Let's get a guy like Taylor Rogers, a guy who's been reliable for a pretty decent amount of time in Major League Baseball, and a lefty that can fit into this bullpen while not costing us a ton because of his down year. Now, if you haven't noticed so far, I've been going through and trying to pick free agents that are going to fill a certain hole on this Red Sox team. I'm going to call them pain points, areas on this team that have really been a sore spot for this Red Sox team, not only just in 2022, but in 2021 as well. So the last player I want to talk about on this list today is a DH that could also be a pretty versatile weapon for this Red Sox team, and that's Mitch Haniger. I was going to go with Michael Conforto, throw him on this list, but they have similar hitting profiles, and Mitch Haniger actually played in 2022. Not exactly Michael Conforto's fault, he was injured, but either way, I like the fact that Mitch Haniger is a little bit less of a mystery. Either way though, Mitch Haniger would be a fantastic addition to this Red Sox team. Mitch Haniger kind of is exactly what the Red Sox are looking for in that DH position. A guy who is hitting forward, who can get you 25 bombs at the plate, who had a bit of a down year in 2022, but that potential is still there, while also being able to not just be a DH. He could play the outfield if he needs to, right? You could use him as sort of a temporary DH, have him take most of the DH at bats, but also be able to cycle in other players when they need, whether they want to give guys a day off but not take them out of the lineup, whether they want to start cycling in some of these guys on the bench that they want to get in versus certain matchups. You could still use Mitch Haniger's bat, but not just in the DH role, in the field as well. And I think that's exactly what the Red Sox have been looking for in that DH position, especially after the down year JD Martinez had. In my opinion, Mitch Haniger, out of all of these guys, outside Xander Bogarts, because he's a special case, is the most realistic for the Red Sox to try and sign this off season. So in total, my top free agents this year, if I'm in the war room of this Red Sox team and they're like, hey Corbin, who do you want on this Red Sox team? I want Xander, duh. I want Carlos Rodon. Give me an ace. Give me a guy who is going to be reliable in that rotation. Give me Taylor Rogers, maybe a bit of a question mark, but could be a guy that would work perfectly on this Red Sox team. And give me Mitch Haniger, a guy who can play DH and be an effective DH for you, while also being able to be versatile and not be stuck in that DH position at all times. But that's just my list. Like I said at the beginning of this thing, you could have a completely different list. So let me know in the comment section down below. Who are you picking? Are you guys doing something different? Do you like my list? Do you hate my list? Let me know all your thoughts on the Red Sox top free agents down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Sea.